everyone, it's great to walk with you again. Today, while we walk, I'll tell you a story called The Fir Tree by Hans Christian Andersen. This is a perfect follow-up to Christmas Every Day, as both stories speak about appreciating the present. However, The Fir Tree carries a much sadder and more reflective tone. Dissatisfaction in the forest. The story tells of a beautiful little fir tree growing deep in the forest. It had a prime spot, receiving plenty of sunlight and fresh air. Surrounding it were older, taller companions, stately pines and firs. However, this little tree was not happy at all. It was constantly yearning to grow up fast. It didn't care for the warm sunshine, the singing birds, or the rosy clouds that drifted by every morning. All it could think was, "Oh, if only I were as tall as the other trees. Then I could spread my branches wide and gaze out at the vast world." Envy of the journeys. Winter came and woodcutters entered the forest to fell the tallest trees. The little fir tree asked the swallows and storks where those trees went. They spoke of seeing magnificent ships at sea with towering masts made of pine. The little tree grew envious. "If only I were big enough to go to sea and become a proud mast." At Christmas, trees even younger than itself were cut down. The sparrows shared that those trees were taken into homes and decorated with gold, apples, gingerbread, and thousands of candles. The little tree began to dream. "That must be the most brilliant destiny of all. I can't wait for that day to come." The sun and the wind tried to advise it. "Enjoy your youth, enjoy your freedom and the fresh air here." But the trees simply would not listen. Finally, the day arrived. The fir tree was cut down. For the first time, it felt a sharp pain as the axe bit into its trunk. It was taken into the home of a wealthy family. On Christmas Eve, the tree was decorated more splendidly than ever. Net bags filled with candy, golden apples, dolls, and hundreds of shimmering candles. At its very top sat a star made of gold leaf. Children cheered and danced around it. The tree trembled with joy, thinking this glorious life would last forever. It looked forward to tomorrow, hoping to be dressed in such splendor once again. Forgotten in the dark cellar down below. But the next morning, everything changed completely. Instead of being lit with candles, the servants dragged it up to a dark, dusty attic and abandoned it in a corner. The tree felt lonely and miserable. It began telling stories to the little mice about its days in the forest. As it recounted those memories, it finally realized, as it turns out, those days in the forest, basking in the sun and listening to the birds, were actually its happiest days. It also realized how fleeting that one brilliant Christmas night had been. It began to regret not enjoying those moments while they were actually happening. A tragic end. Spring arrived, and people carried the tree out of the attic. It imagined it would live again and bloom, but it was withered and yellowed. The children who once danced around it now trampled on its dry branches. The golden star on its head, the only thing left of its former glory, was torn off by a child. Finally, the gardener chopped the tree into small pieces for firewood. As the flames flared up, the tree let out little popping sounds like heavy sighs. It thought of summer days in the forest, of starlit winter nights, and of the stories it told the mice. Then it burned to ashes. Deep message. The story ends. Everything has passed, and the fir tree is no more. How often do we act like that fir tree, always looking to the future, ignoring the beautiful now? Thank you for walking with me. Don't forget to appreciate your sunshine today. See you in the next story.